Joining us for the final trade of the day is Scott Bauer, the CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. A big day, a big weekend ahead, and we did see a bit of a pop in the VIX in the trade on Thursday. So what do you think?
You know, I think people are just positioning themselves for the news, what may come out of Jackson Hole, good, bad, or indifferent. And, you know, at this point, I would say there's definitely a bias towards the downside of the marketplace slightly, which is the reason why you may be seeing a little bit of a pop in the VIX.
Okay, let's take a look at the Prosper trade of the day.
Yes, so we're looking at the banks, and we really like the big banks. Goldman Sachs, j.p.morgan. And really what it comes down to, Angie, is we believe that the Fed is not going to be as dovish as many are hoping for. And yes, they may certainly cut rates by 0.25% next month in September. However, the rhetoric coming out of Jackson Hole this weekend, which we'll have to see what happens, I don't believe, and we don't believe, is going to be as dovish. So we like the upside in some of the big banks here, because if the Fed is not as dovish, that's a good thing for banks.
Well, let's take a look at that chart. What are you seeing here?
Well, look at j.p.morgan here, and yes, it has sold off from its high, about 5-6% or so, but it's really held in here given the fact that rates have just been pummeled. So again, if there's any sort of talk, any sort of rhetoric that the Fed is not going to be as aggressive to the downside with rates, these bigger banks like a JP, like a Goldman Sachs, really should pop. So we're looking to take advantage of that by buying an upside call spread.
Bullish.
We're going all the way out to September. So it's about a month. It's not a weekly trade. We're going out a month because we want this to kind of settle in with the market and have some time to work. We're buying the September 110, 115 call spread, trying to get in for about $1.30 or so. If we do that, it gives us great reward to risk of almost 3-to-1. And again, we're looking for the Fed not to come out and say we're not lowering rates, but not to take as dovish of a stance as many believe they will.
Another thing that you seem to be playing here, Scott, is, as you mentioned, the financials have struggled. So how much of this is just a knee-jerk reaction that's in the market here?
Yeah, I mean, they've struggled, Angie, but not as much maybe as many would think, given what has happened with interest rates. And that's why I'm sticking with a j.p.morgan or even a Goldman Sachs, the big guys in the game that have really, in my opinion, weathered the storm.
Well, good trader talk today. Thanks so much for coming on our show.
Thank you.
For more Business First AM, check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.